Thank you for listening to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Some said we would go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. It's the final countdown to the NFL Draft. Coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Seany J and I give our final thoughts on who the Lions should select in the first round of the NFL Draft. Then we take a look at the Lions wide receiver corps. Is it the worst in the NFL? And finally, Seany J and I discuss the 6 new rules for the NFL. All this and more coming up right now on the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, though? This is Curt Steele, and welcome to the Die Hard Den podcast. And as always, I'm with my man, Seany J.
Hey, Curt, how you doing, man? I gotta apologize and thank you, same time, for being patient with me. You know, I'm really busy outside the show with 2 jobs and everything, but I love doing the show. But thanks for hanging in with me, buddy.
Yeah, man. We it's a late time for us, but we're gonna do this show. You know how we get down. It is always what we do first is what? Tell me something good. All right. So first up, the NFL draft is only a week away. Can you believe it? Man, I'm sick of all the mock drafts, all the speculation. I'm just ready for this draft to get here, Seany J.
Ditto. I'm also in our group that I run, the Facebook group, Lions group. I mean, I'm tired of fans arguing, bickering. Oh, it's a trade pick. They should draft this guy, should draft the quarterback, which I think is a mistake. We'll talk about that more later. I'm just ready for it to get here myself.
Yes, man. I mean, me too, man. I'm just kind of ready for this thing to be totally over with, and we can get it on, and we can start doing some draft recaps and looking toward to the NFL season, because, you got phase 2 of training camp. I mean, it's going to come up here shortly, OTAs, and you're going to get some in-person training for some players. And next is the NFL schedule will be released on the 12th of May. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that, but I think it really got pushed back due to the fact that they added an extra game.
Yeah, we know who the Lions are going to play, so no matter when they're going to play them, what day.
I know a lot of people are wanting the week 1 matchup to be out in LA versus the Rams to get it over with, so they can see Matthew Stafford in that Rams uniform and keep it moving.
Or hopefully my dream matchup, they both meet at mid-season. They're both undefeated, 7-0, and that'll be a primetime game with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman calling it.
Right? Yeah, that's a pipe dream, right? You think we gonna go second? Bro, ain't no dang go way ahead. We go 7-0, but hey, I'm as optimistic as anybody else, but I gotta keep it real, bro. But that is a good dream to have. But but we'll see on the 12th of May who the Lions are playing when. We know who they're playing, but we're gonna see when they're gonna play. So that is it for Tell Me Something Good. Now it is time to get into the show. It is time to go on the ball, and we're going to talk about this week, should the Lions draft a QB in the draft at all, especially at the number 7 pick? What do you think, Seany J?
No, not at 7. You want to draft one? I don't think they should draft one at all. I mean, because we talked about this before. We traded for Jared Goff.
Right, right.
Former on top pick himself, who played in the Super Bowl and has playoff experience, a 65 record, playoff record. He's experienced. We need a fresh start. If Goff's so bad, we need a quarterback. We have 2 number 1 picks in the next 2 drafts, so that's when. So no, don't waste your time picking a quarterback now.
Right.
If Goff is that bad, just wait it out, because we invested about him. So don't draft a quarterback. We need, an immediate impact player right away.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not down with drafting a quarterback myself either. I think it'll just be a waste. You have a quarterback. You have so much money already tied up in the quarterback position on the Detroit Lions. So why would you even draft another one? Goff may not be the long-term solution, but he's a solution right now. you're going to be paying this guy a ton of money over the next 2 seasons. So you got to ride it out for at least the next 2 years with Jared Goff. Yeah, you're not going to be able to really, get rid of them without a substantial cap hit until after the second year. So, I mean, that's basically what it is. All right. So, thinking about that, talking about the draft, we know, like I said, it's a week away. What's your final thoughts on who you want the Lions? So just give me your definitive pick and, give me a reason why on who the Lions should draft with the number 7 pick.
My definitive pick?
Yeah. Who's your
first? Hope they stay at 7.
Uh-huh.
I don't want them to trade down. I always believe in quality over quantity because you don't have a bunch of draft picks, the guys don't make the team.
Right.
So, but anyway, I want that 7 pick. There's a lot of playmakers in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talked about this. I love my offensive line.
Uh-huh.
And there's the possibility that Panay Steele or Slater from Northwestern be there. One of those two should be there. But, man, as champion they are, I love my offensive line, but it's a lot of playmakers. I want a playmaker. One of those playmakers is going to be available. So if it's Devontae Smith or his teammate Waddle or Pitts or Chase, I want one of those guys. Give me one of those guys.
Okay, I feel you. To me, I'm going to say offensive line. I'm going to say right tackle. One of those tackles, Panay Sewell. You're talking about Tevin Jenkins, or you're talking about Rashawn Slater. And I'm not saying that the Lions don't need wide receivers, but this is that is considered the deepest position in this draft. I mean, considerably by a wide margin is the wide receivers is the best and deepest wide receiver draft class. So I think we can pick up a good playmaker in the second or third round. So I'm looking at the offensive line of the Detroit Lions. We have a gaping hole on that right side of the offensive line. I mean, that right tackle position just not solidified. And I really want the Lions to have a dominant offensive line because of the fact that Jared Goff needs that time to throw the ball. And we have a little bit of a solidified running back room with Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. So I want them to have the opportunity to run the ball and run the ball effectively. I want them to be able to run the ball when it's still they got 8 in the box and we still can just run the ball because we have a good offensive line. You know what I'm saying, Seany J? I mean, that's what I want. I mean, so
Will Cosby,
right? So, and I have no, now here's my thing. He's a good, backup tackle. He's a good swing tackle, and he can give you some good performances over a limited period of time. But as a long-term solution, he's not a starter. That's just my opinion. I mean, the numbers prove it. So he's not if it's somewhere he has to play a substantial amount of time, he's just not that good. Short spurts, yes, but long term, no. Now I do like him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a scrub, but he's just not a starter. But here's a stat that's interesting that came out the other day. I believe I heard it on Sirius XM radio or I read it somewhere. Is that out of all the number, if the players to draft in the first round, right? The position that has the most long-term success in the NFL is what? Offensive line. It's particularly tackles. And I know I like Panay Sewell. I do like him, but I'm and I picked him in a mock draft, and that's the only one I did for the Lions is that I picked Rashawn Slater. And Mike O'Hara of DetroitLions.com made this point. He said that Slater played 3 years at right tackle before moving to left tackle. So he solidified. I mean, you think about this. He has just as much game experience as Sewell. Sewell's a little bit younger, so that gives him a little bit of an edge because he'll only be 20 and Slater will be 23. But they have just about the same arm length. Slater's a little bit shorter, but the guy's a beast on the bench. So you're looking at this guy. He's quick as a hiccup. He got good feet, and he can help really solidify our offensive line. That's one thing we haven't had in Detroit in a really, really long time is a dominant offensive line.
But here's the thing, the downside about Slater. Some people, he's 6'3", 305.
Yeah.
Some people say he's a little undersized. You call man that size undersized, play tackle.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
I think he has the athletic ability to make up for that. I mean, it just does. I mean, people people said that Aaron Donald was too small to play defensive tackle in the NFL, and look how that turned out.
Uh-huh.
You can't put everyone in the same box. I would like either one of those guys, or even Tevin Jenkins, even the guy, if we're leaving weight to a later round, that guy Leatherwood out of Alabama, that dude's a house. I really like. I want to really having a dominant offensive line, to be honest. And you can find some good wide receivers in the second and third rounds. And I've said this before. If you look at Jared Goff, he had success out there in LA. They didn't have those wide receivers they had out there weren't number one guys. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't their number, they weren't the number one, guys in the league. You know what I'm saying? So he had a bunch of guys that were good number two receivers, and they just made a good core receivers. So, he needs guys that he can get open, and that's what they got right now. Now, do I think that, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but, that's why I'm not really sold on getting a playmaker in the first round, but it's because there's plenty of them in this draft. There's a ton of receivers in this draft. It is really deep at wide receiver. So I think we can pick up some guys in the second and third round. I think Mel Kiper had us taking in his latest mock draft, I think picking at least two of them in a row in the second and third round. So, there's just a ton of those guys out there. So that's on the ball. We're going to talk about some wide receivers now. Let's go into defender then now. We can talk about defense, but right now we're going to talk about offense, right? So according to Brent Sablowski, the Lions wide receiver has the worst wide receiver core in the NFL. Let's take a look at our current wide receivers. We have Geronimo Allison, Victor Bolden, Quintez Cephas, Tom Kennedy, Brashad Perriman, Damian Ratley, Khalif Raymond, and Tyrell Williams on our roster. That is not a lot of really time on the field. We have some guys that really were in backup roles, or they weren't really number one receivers, or even number two receivers. Tom Kennedy and Victor Bolden, who are kind of holdovers from last year, don't have a single catch in an NFL game. Like in a live, like anytime about like preseason, I'm talking about in a live NFL game. Like, what do you think about the guys? Do you think we have the worst wide receiver core in the league? It's an honest question.
Well, funny, because the new guys we brought in, the 4 new guys that Holmes brought in, are very, very fast. Mm-hmm. But like I said, they're not, number one receivers. Mm-hmm. And there's question mark. I question, Tyrell Williams. Mm-hmm. He's come off a serious injury. He missed the whole season. Mm-hmm.
Torn labrum. Yeah, torn labrum. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Brashad Perriman, the son of former Lion great Brett Perriman. He's had some injury problems. He never looked at the billing. His is former number one pick.
Man, and
those 2 guys.
He got them Ebron hands too. That dude got them Ebron. That dude got a case of the dropsies.
You just really been more confident when you said that, the Ebron hands. Ugh. So we look at it. You may say that the receiving, we get a receiver in the second or third round, but you can easily say the same thing. We get a good tackle in the second or third round. So that's why I think we got a playmaker. Hopefully, like Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith or Chase or even the tight end, one of those guys. Like I said, I love offensive linemen, but like I said, we the Lions need playmakers. Golf needs playmakers, and he's offensive line, but you can get a good offensive tackle in the second or third round, like you said about thinking about the receiver. And one thing, offensive tackles don't score touchdowns or catch passes. So I think the Lions should give him a playmaker. Yeah. And then an offensive tackle afterwards.
Yeah, I think we both agree that we both, those positions are both positions of need for the Lions. We just kind of have a difference of where we will pick them. I get what you're saying. The Lions do have, I would say I don't know if it's the worst in the league. I'd say it's up there. They scrap. Really down there as far as the worst in the league. I think they can fix it. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? I mean, maybe these guys can be coached up. I know a couple of those guys, were, at least I know one, Damian Ratley, was drafted by John Dorsey in Cleveland. He's kind of got stuck when they started bringing some big name free agents in. So, I mean, he kind of got stuck behind, you look at those guys who they have over there, OBJ and the rest of that crew. So he kind of just got stuck behind some big names. And not to his fault, you know what I'm saying? But it just is what it is. Williams was coming on. I mean, as he came in the league as an undrafted free agent, but he really just started to come on before he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? That when, he was pretty durable until, that torn labrum. But the rest of those guys, I mean, the one guy that I really think has a lot of promise to me, and, I think he's kind of underrated, is Cephas. I like Cephas really played well last year. And he plays faster than his 40 times says. You know what I'm saying? Like, he plays faster than that. So I think he'll have a good NFL season. I mean, I like Quintez Cephas. Is it the worst in the league? I don't know, bro. I can't sit here and tell you it ain't, but I can't I can't sit here and tell you it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say I can't say definitively one way or the other that it is or it isn't the worst in the league.
At best, the old sports metaphor is all these guys are prove it to me guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Prove it to me guys.
Yeah, they gonna have some prove it to me time. All right, that is the film the Den. We talked about that Lions receiving core. You tell us what you think in the comments of this video, either on Facebook or YouTube, and let us know what you think. Is it the worst wide receiver core in the league, or is it not? Maybe not. Just let us know what you think.
And also, fans,
what's that?
Tell us the Lions season. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
go ahead, man.
That's when piggyback. So the Lions go receiver, offensive lineman first. Who should they take? Why don't you put that in the comments as well?
Yes, and for those who have commented, we really appreciate you. And I will do a better job of answering those comments on Facebook and on YouTube as well. And my man Jimbo G over there has definitely answered us, and I need to do a better job of answering the questions. So Jimbo, I owe you some answers over there on YouTube as well as Facebook as well. We appreciate you commenting on our videos, man. That's one thing. And I don't know, maybe me and Seany J might start reading some of your answers on the show from the previous week. So we may just start a segment like that on this show. Maybe one or two for the show. What you say, Seany J? Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, anything to help the show out. I love this show. I'm doing it. We're doing it. It's our third season. Let's keep growing it. Okay.
All right. So, thank you for checking us out right here on the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment on the videos, and share them with your friends. It helps us get this content to more people that like the Lions. I mean, I'm just saying. If you're watching on Facebook, hey, go ahead and share the video and like it. Give us a comment. If you're not a member of our Facebook page, go over to our Facebook page. Is the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. And subscribe over there. Join the channel, man. Join that Facebook page. Seany J does an excellent job of keeping you updated on what's going on with the Lions, all the news and rumors. Seany J does a wonderful job of keeping you updated. And if you listen to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms, hey, thanks for the download. We really appreciate it. All right, when we get back from the break, we're going to go into the 6 new rules for the NFL coming up for the season. The owners approved this at the winter meetings, the spring meetings just a few days ago. So we're going to check this out when we get back from the break, when we talk about 2 points conversing. All right, we're back from the break, and the NFL has approved 6 new rule changes, Seany J. Well, we talked about this a little while ago, that they have some proposed rules and 6 of them made it through. So let's kind of get into the first couple of one. The first one is really a no-brainer. It eliminates overtime in the preseason. I don't know why the hell they even had overtime in the preseason to begin with. I mean, that made no sense whatsoever. You're gonna get players hurt in meaningless games in the preseason. You should have never had preseason overtime in the beginning. All right, and the second one is establishing maximum number of players in the setup zone during the kickoff. Now that entails this: if you look at how players are set up, right? The current rule only allows 8 on a line for a kickoff for the return team, and you got 3 that's back that's 10 yards back at the 40 yard line. The first 8 are at the 50, and then you have 1 or 2 back to return. So that establishes your setup zone. Now you can have 9 on the line, and the setup zone, you only have to have them about 5 yards back off the line. And the new kickoff setup is at the 45 instead of the 50. So basically it gives it where you can set up more blockers to block during kickoffs. So, I mean, that's really easy. All right. So the third rule we're looking at, and we'll talk about these first 3 here shortly, is the replay officials now can provide certain objective information for the on-the-field officials. It's not a sky judge, but they can help give advice to the on-field officials with the replay officials that's actually at the stadium. So they can give some advice on possession of the ball, completed or incompleted pass, touching of a loose ball on the boundary line, goal line, or end line, spot of the ball, or the player in relation to sidelines or line of scrimmage or line of game. So basically, if they made a first down or a touchdown, and then down by contact, you know what I'm saying, when it is not ruled on the field. Now, they're not there to overrule, but they can go in and give advice to the referees in the stadium. So those first 3, you're looking at the elimination of preseason overtime, which is a no-brainer. And then we're looking at the maximum number of players in the setup zone for a kickoff. And the replay officials can now provide some much needed advice to the on-field officials. What do you think about those 3 rule changes right quick?
Well, like I said, the preseason overtime, I don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. So except on a kickoff, they're trying to make the game safer because, you know, they made a rule change a few years ago where the players on the kickoff couldn't move until after the kicker kicked the ball. They can't get a running start, go down the field 100 miles an hour. That causes injuries. So they try to eliminate that. So anything to make the game safer, I guess there's no problem with that. And the third one, the replay official. Yeah. I explain, if I heard what you said, I interpreted it right. He can give his opinion on what he saw to the official on the field. And, right. And can they, let me ask you this, if they see a penalty, another penalty that was committed but wasn't called, can they talk about that too?
No, they only can give those ones on the ones that I gave the synopsis on. That's all they can advise. They cannot overrule the referees on the field. It's not like the XFL. You know, XFL had the sky judge where they can go in and make calls if it's like a replay, something like that. Basically, they can give advice to the referees that's on the field. I mean, basically, what's in those certain situations, it's pretty much down by contact. You know, anything that's like on the boundary, you know, in bounds or out of bounds. You know, if it's a catch, you know, incomplete, and they can just, you know, look at the replay and say, hey, I don't think this guy caught this pass, or they can just give advice, and basically it just works as a team with they basically just gives them another tool. I think that the NFL really needs to look at the sky judge. I like the way that they use that sky judge in the XFL, and it wasn't that long. It was a pretty quick process. I mean, it was basically 30 seconds to a minute, and the call was already done.
Right. I thought they did that anyway, you know, with the replay.
Nah. They had done that yet in the NFL. So, I mean, I wish they would. All right, let's take a look at the next 3 rules to go over. Now, here's the enforcement of all penalties committed by either team on extra points or 2 points conversion tries. and this has something to do with I think there was some issue with Tom Brady and something happened on a 4th and 2. So basically, if theirs is that they want to make sure all penalties committed on the extra point tries or 2-point conversions are enforced. The next one is that adds a loss of down to the penalty of a second forward pass. I know we talked about this. That one has much to do with at the end of the game, or say if someone tries that, where they're trying to do a double pass down the field, trying to get some players open at the end of the game. And if there is time left on the clock, it's a loss of down. If it's 4th down, pretty much the game is over. So pretty much this is, if you an NFL rule is you can't have 2 forward passes. This is like, if you have a second pass, the first pass has to be a lateral. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be either behind the line of scrimmage, a backwards pass, or a lateral. It can't be 2 forward passes. That's how Brett Favre's first career completion was to himself, because the pass got batted down and he caught it and he had no choice but to run it. So, and here's the biggest one, right? The jersey number changes, right? So the NFL has relaxed the rules for jersey numbers. That is crazy. Now, I know Seany J, my man, is not a big fan of this. So let's go over what the new number for positions can be. All right, so for the quarterbacks, theirs didn't change, 1 through 19. Running backs can wear 1 through 49 or 80 through 89. Tight ends can wear 1 through 49 or 80 through 89. Same with the wide receivers, 1 through 49 or 80 through 89. Offensive linemen can wear 50 to 79, and defensive linemen can wear 50 to 79 and 90 to 99 as well. Linebackers, now this is the biggest group. They can wear 1 through 59 or 90 to 99. And defensive backs can wear 1 through 49. And you can add those punters and kickers in with the quarterbacks there as 1 through 19. You're not going to see a kicker wearing like 99 or 49 or 59 or whatever it is. All right, so Seany J. All right, so I want to ask you this before we really get into this next, the last little story we're going to do with this. We can cover. What do you think about the number changes?
You're gonna see a lot of guys wearing odd numbers. Like in college, you see some defensive linemen wear single digits. Like I've seen Michigan, like Rashawn Gary used to wear number 3 at Michigan.
Yeah,
and
so
number 5. So they gonna get an opportunity to wear that in the pros too. They want to, and so Curt, he wore number 1 at Ohio State. So
yes,
he go back to number 1 now.
Now here's the thing about it though. Oh man, Seany J. Now here's a rule. One rule note: if the player desires to change the numbers for the 2021 season, they will have to personally buy out the remaining stock of the jerseys from the distributors, according to ESPN's Kevin Seifer, who used to cover the NFC North for ESPN. So if they want to change next year, they're not authorized and are not required to do so. So basically, if they want to change next year, they're good. They just put the request in. Like Jeff Okudah has already changed his number this season. He did it last season. So basically, at the end of last season, he said, I don't want to wear 30 no more. I want to switch to 23. They said that's fine because he did it before the new season started. So if he would have changed again, he would have to buy out the whole stock of the remaining jerseys from like Fanatics and NFLshop.com, Detroit Lions Shop, which is pretty much all those outlets are controlled by Fanatics, and any jerseys that's listed on Nike.com.
That's stupid. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah. So basically, but here's the deal: the rookies are going to be able to get those lower numbers without having to pay for
them. So, say like this is for play devil's advocate. They took Devontae Smith,
right,
out of Alabama. He gets to wear number 6.
Yep,
his college number.
Right. He get to wear number 6 now. say if he picked number 1, right? And next year Okuda wanted that number. You know how that goes with the rookies and the veterans, right? So that he would most likely have to pay Devontae Smith for his number.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, basically, if you ain't got no big money, you ain't gonna be switching to single digits this year. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Unless the team's gonna do it and pay it for you. You know what I'm saying? So, but it says personally. So, that's just something that, and one thing the caveat on that is Tom Brady is not a big fan of the number changes. He said makes it harder to identify players to block for the offense. Now, they talked about this on PTI today, and they said, is he overreacting? I pretty much think so, just because of the fact that the guys on the other team are still wearing a different jersey. I mean, you just a quarterback comes to the line, they identify who the mic is, you call out your protections to the offensive lineman, and they know who to block. Just because they have a different number on, that is not going to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that really makes a difference. Because you're not going to look at a wide receiver, a defensive back that's wearing number 4, or a linebacker that's wearing number 3 and make them, mistake of who has that blocking assignment. It doesn't make any sense. A defensive back is going to be smaller than the linebacker.
And if he can tell the difference in college, should we do it in the pros?
Yeah, it's I think Tom Brady was having a get off my lawn moment. I think that was all that was. And one thing, before we get out of here, one thing is that the NFL has introduced a new helmet that's specifically for offensive and defensive linemen. What do you think about that? I think that is a good safety precaution for the league.
Yes, because they're always banging heads, especially on the line of both linemen, offense and defense. They all need it,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good, whoever, they came with that, and they said that was the second highest rated helmet for safety, and a lot of linemen are going to start wearing that helmet for the upcoming season on both the offensive and defensive line. You can go over to ESPN and check out that article if you want to read more about the new helmet for the first position helmet for the NFL. All right, so that's our show for today. All right, we really appreciate you. Like we said before, thank you for checking us out. If you're tuning in on our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, join our channel. If leave a comment, please, if you do so, and like the video and share it with your friends. If you are watching over on Facebook, hey, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and then go over and join our Facebook page, because Seany J is the man over on Facebook. He also runs another page over there, and he runs our Facebook page for the Die Hard Den podcast as well. And if you are listening on the podcast platform, hey, thanks for the download. We really appreciate it. Seany J, what are your final thoughts for this show going into draft week?
It's almost here, people. I know both Curtis and I are suffering from draft fatigue. Only 1 week left. I can't wait for it to get here. It'll be like Christmas Day for football fans. So, yeah, hopefully your favorite team, in this case the Lions, get the player everybody wants or most people can agree on. We can't satisfy everybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully the guy we get will make the majority of Lions fans happy.
I agree with you 100%, my man. My final thoughts for today's show is that it's almost here. Like Seany J said, the draft week is approaching really, really fast. And it's just one of those things where it's the time of year where now we're going to stop talking about who we might draft and start talking about who we did draft. There would not be a Die Hard Den as scheduled next week on Friday, but we will do a show early next week. We're going to tape it on Sunday, most likely, and we're going to talk about the recap of the Lions draft. So look out for that early next week. Seany J are gonna go over and review who the Lions draft and what we thought about the Lions draft and what Brad Holmes did in his first draft as a general manager of the Detroit Lions. Seany J, what are your parting shots for the people today?
Speaking of shot, I I hope people, take this COVID still seriously. If it's your right, if you want to take a shot, that's fine. If not, they continue to practice social distancing, wear your mask, wash your hands, be safe out there, people.
Yes, please. And if you got your shot, I got mine. I still practice social distancing. I still wear my mask because other people out there have not done so. So I'm keeping myself safe and my family safe. But like Seany J said, please keep yourself safe out there. COVID is not over. The pandemic is still very much a part of society, and especially up there. I live in North Carolina, but Michigan is over there is really getting ravaged by the pandemic again. Looking at the thumb and the cases over there in Michigan, it is really ramping up again. So please be safe out there, people. All right. So, Seany J, let the people know how they can find you on social media.
My name is Sean Jennings. You can find me on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook. You send me a friend request. I'll be happy to add you. Hopefully, and I'll also be happy to add you to the Detroit Lions Truest Fan Group, one of the best Lion groups in the web. And don't forget about our Die Hard Den public page. I keep both pages well informed. All
right. So for me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Curtis Steele 14. That's CurtisSteele14. You can follow the show on Twitter at Die Hard Den Pod 1 and over on Instagram at die_hard_den_podcast. Hey, it is Thursday. We are 1 week away from the NFL draft. So, hey, take this time, relax. Don't get into a whole bunch of the mock drafts. The mock drafts are all already done. All of them are shoot. Everybody didn't pick somebody else for the Lions. So just kind of sit back and relax and just wait for the draft as you go about your day. Hey, stay safe out there and be with your loved ones. Spend time with your loved ones. You never know how much time you're going to have left on this earth. And as always, let me see. It is April Autism Acceptance Month. I am wearing a shirt that it is in honor of my son, Curtis III. If you don't know, he is an adult with autism. So it is Autism Acceptance Month. Please accept differences for people. And my shirt says, in a world where you could be anything, be kind. So for my man, Seany J, Curt still wants you to do one thing. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. Hey, for Seany J, this is Curt Steele of the Die Hard Den podcast, and we are out.